What's going on, guys? I just got out of bed like usual, and it is a beautiful Friday morning. Minimal wind too, which for my body, that sucks. But for these videos, that's perfect because I'm getting tired of filming videos and then listening to the playback and there's a fucking wind sound on the audio. I think that takes away from the video, and I'm already being lazy enough to not make custom thumbnails and shit. So I just can't have that many things wrong. And it does bother me a little bit. But alas, we're back to it. So when you're looking at how you want to operate with your beliefs in fitness, it helps to keep an open mind. We all know that one guy who will argue about everything, but he doesn't educate himself enough to be well informed with his words. And that's a problem because these people talk the most. And you don't want someone making a bunch of talking points on a topic when they have absolutely no idea what they're talking about, or they have very little idea of what they're talking about. A perfect example of this is if you go back and listen to a Joe Rogan podcast with Adam Conover. Now, granted, this is a bit long, so don't take my advice if you don't want, but it is a very good listen because it was a terrible podcast. Because this guy went in with an agenda and he was lazy about it because he was literally not prepared for even the smallest little bit of rebuttal. And he went in there with an agenda trying to say a bunch of things that are objectively not true, like pack leaders, alpha male types don't exist and they never have. He said sports were sexist because the rules favor men, and just that the sporting system itself needs to completely be uprooted and changed. And the thing is, that's great talking points for a hard left person. Not to be too political, but these people are real loud and obnoxious, and they don't have very well thought out points. They kind of want everyone to feel good, but also at the expense of other groups of people. So it's really contradictory and hypocritical and all that. And it's a terrible way to operate your interactions with other people, but also operate your own mind. Because when you dig a little bit deeper, it's clearly objectively true that these beliefs are not founded in reality. So when you're talking about, when this guy's on that podcast and he's making all these points, he's getting shut down left and right. And you can see on his face, he's genuinely surprised that is happening. Great, because the audience is so big, and he really thought it was going to be a friendly interaction because that's how it started off. But the thing he failed to realize was the very best podcasts are not just the top ones because the people who run them are famous. It's because they operate them just as real human interaction. That's what they want. They want a real human interaction, and that is a conversation. And when you have a normal conversation with another person and they say something outlandish that you don't agree with, you're gonna buck back on them with it and make them defend their stance and have your own points to bring up. Just a normal conversation, that's what it is. I wouldn't even say that's really an argument yet. It's just kind of someone maybe being more or less informed on something than another, and they decided to talk to each other. So that could definitely happen. And it's not good because that guy left embarrassed. This was years ago, and he still to this day is doubling down and defending everything he did and said, because that's a common human quality as well of idiots, which is when you feel threatened, your defensive instinct is to now latch on to whatever it is you're defensive about and believe it even more than before, despite the fact that nothing new has come to fruition that would give you a reason to think that. You just feel threatened because someone's challenging you. And most people, I already told you guys many times, I think most people are very stupid. But that's how most people operate. That's what they're going to do. And you're alienating yourself from people. you're robbing yourself of an opportunity of growth, and you're choosing to not expand your basis of information past whatever biased corner you want to live in. And there's nothing wrong with being biased, even though it is definitely a word with heavy negative connotations. Because let's look at the word bias here. You're essentially saying that someone strongly favors this one way of thinking, or whatever idea, whatever it is. They strongly favor it. So you have the negative connotation of thinking this person has an agenda when they speak about it, because they're strongly leaning one way. So just common sense would want you to believe that these people are trying to convert you to their side at any stakes necessary. And there's a lot of negative connotation with that, because it seems very disingenuous. But in actuality, depending on the extreme of it, there's no reason why being biased is a bad thing. It's good to be biased. It means you have conviction in your life. You care about things. But you could be biased and have it still be a logical point. You know, it doesn't have to be biased in this unruly way. And that's where people get really mixed up on it. Because you could really advocate for one thing, but also, also making it clear to everyone around you that you lean that way, but also doing so in a very respectful, friendly manner, on having very well thought out, objectively logical points to make. You can be biased as much as you want. If you're able to display those few things, you are going to have no problem, and it's really not going to be an extreme approach at all, or of any negativity to it, because you're simply enthusiastic about the topic. And while you may lean heavily one side, you're communicating in a manner where you're not butting heads or trying to get confrontational. You're simply just talking about the thing you're enthusiastic about. And that's really where being biased is a good thing. But the problem, and another thing that adds to the negative connotation, is people that are biased, when they get challenged enough, especially nowadays, their immediate reaction is to get violent about it. They want to physically shut someone up because of how much they disagree with them and how much they are not prepared to defend themselves and their points, their ideas to other people. And it's really embarrassing. And it's terrible, because so many, most people are stupid. So they're going out there just kind of ruining everyone else's mindset towards different things, because they can't control themselves and act like adults. And that is most hard left people. They're not adults. Hard right people, honestly, a lot of people are actually even in the center now, and they're getting called hard right. Old school liberals, which would be like what they were 20 years ago, people that stay true to those values, they're getting called far right now. Everyone is. Actual true far right people are equally stupid. They are. They're just not getting all the limelight and being spoon-fed to us on social media, because there is honestly not as many of them, and the ones that do exist, excluding a select few, they're not doing all that crazy shit. Like, they usually, with those types of heavy conservative types, like, they're just glad to have someone that wants to listen and be a part of what they're doing. Now, that's actually a really good way to give a warm welcoming to people confused, to bring them into whatever your belief system is. However, with hard left people, and I'm talking like very far that way, they've turned it into a contest with the same people that are supporting all of their stances into who is more woke. And they're doing that and alienating their people out of their own group, making it a contest with heavy repercussions, because if something's not suitable to the other ones that feel like they're kind of the, like the one true Scotsman with all this stuff, they want to ruin the other person's fucking life, because that's how crazy and insane and psychotic these people are. They're going to do whatever they can to ruin someone else's life simply because they don't agree with them. And they're going to attribute all kinds of extreme, terrible, negative stuff to those people so they could dehumanize them so they don't have to reflect at all and just feel okay. It's literally what, in the past, in history, not just in Nazi Germany, but many other instances, especially like Japanese during World War II. Well, that's actually another example from that same timeline. I guess that was just a crazy time in history, but they would attribute all kinds of terrible, inhuman qualities to different groups of people, or even convince their own members that these other people are not human in order to commit acts of atrocity against them freely with no remorse. What did I say a bunch of times already? Most people are stupid. Most people have no problem going along with that stuff. And that's what makes it even funnier when you look at anyone that's too far on one side these days, because especially like the hard left people I see, they're out there and they're virtue signaling like crazy. They're side note, like they're usually very lazy people, uninspired, just a miserable people to be around. But these kinds of people, they're loudly and proudly telling everyone else that they would go against the grain and they'd never be a part of any of those terrible things that these inhuman individuals were a part of in the past. But what they can't even realize, which is the most blatant, simple thing in front of them, is they have never been against the grain on anything. Any kind of social cause or anything whatsoever that they've ever come across in their life, they have gone along with the group to fit in. They have never had a single opinion or anything that's gone against what's conventionally acceptable in society, yet they feel they would suddenly be those people in the past. No, they would be the people with the pitchforks. Very clearly they would. But you run into that kind of stuff a lot with people. It's no surprise that they're like this. And it's honestly just a lost cause to get super pissed off about it. Because at the end of the day, that's not what's going to change them. They're just slowly going to fizzle out, or they're going to start collecting enough experiences in life, which they clearly do not have, that they warp their opinions, but they do it slowly and subtly over time with other members of their group. So that way they could feel like they were always a part of the right thing and they never did anything wrong. So they could end up changing. And maybe, but it's just coincidentally that it could be better. It's not like they're going and changing to be better. It's just coincidentally if it is. And they go about all this stuff this way and make drastic changes over a long period of time. And they'll never admit that they ever thought a wrong thing about stuff. It's just always been that way. And it's the delusion that these people carry with them that starts getting other people in society that were never inclined to be like this to start acting out in similar ways. And it's the fight fire with fire cliche. They do all that stuff, and you're just left with a big mess. And I see all this stuff going on, and I'm legitimately wondering every time I see it. I'm like, do these people not have fucking jobs? And they clearly don't, because it'll be like a Tuesday afternoon. These people are getting in brawls in the middle of downtown Chicago with random people on the street. Just random people that crossed their path when they were on a rampage, and they had the smallest inkling that these people did not agree with them, and they're jumping these people. Because that's a great way to make a statement, right? That's like trying to attract flies with a flamethrower. They're not gonna go by that. Instead of attracting flies with honey and just being a cool person to be around and also sharing some points along the way. That is the easiest way to get someone to warm up to whatever you think. They don't and they never will operate in a smart manner because they're not smart. But you run into these kinds of people all the time. At least you do in a city area. I imagine in the country, it's more, the country areas of the United States, like, in the South, I imagine it's quite the opposite. I imagine there's a lot of similarities, but it's just being encountered with far right people instead of far left. So I think there could be a similar experience in that manner. But it's just, the thing is, I see all this stuff, and it's very clear to me that these people have nothing in their life that they're truly passionate about. Not a single thing. Because if they did, they would be occupying their time with the things that make them feel fulfilled and not all the things that make them angry. And it seems like certain types of people, all they want to do is be angry. And they'll never admit it, but it's clearly true based on their actions that that's exactly how they want to live. So you can get as mad as you want in an exchange with them and want to be that guy who's kind of opening up their eyes forcibly to the reality of the world. But the thing is, that's just going to leave you in a lot worse demeanor than you came in with, trying to change shit that honestly does not affect you. It doesn't. You need to have things that you're passionate about, so this dumb bullshit does not affect you. It shouldn't. There's no reason it should. You're just trying to live your life and do the things that make you feel accomplished with yourself and happy about it. It's really that simple. Everyone's got different things. Some people have similar things, but everyone's got some kind of thing that, we shouldn't say everyone has different things. Some people have the same thing. A lot of people have different things. Most people have different things, but a lot of people have the same kinds of things. And it could be nice if you come across other people that are on the same path as you. Yeah, that's a possibility. But the important part is that you're dedicating yourself to whatever thing it might be that is causing that fulfillment within you. Or you're exploring it. Exploring the path to fulfillment via this thing you love. And I never see those types of people really bat an eye much when it comes to all this dumb political shit, because they're busy being happy. So you got people busy being happy and people busy being miserable. Which one do you want to be? It's not a hard choice, but you have to really think on it for a second to realize that's what it is. And until people do that, which most won't, we're just going to be doing the same stuff to a worse degree over and over. You run into a lot of these people too. Let's go all the way back to the beginning of the video with the Adam Conover thing. So that guy is a good representation of a lot of people out there in society nowadays. Going in overzealous, overconfident, feeling well-informed, but really just having basic talking points you've never been challenged on. Never thought to prepare any counter arguments to things you'd be challenged on. Just kind of feeling like everything you think is universally accepted. Being completely delusional. Those types of people, it's a good reflection of a lot of individuals out there, especially in the information age of fitness, where everyone has the right answer and they're all different. You got a lot of people that are not just peddling this stuff, but you have other people who are being spoon-fed outlandish, misinformed lies. But the lies they're being spoon-fed are fun, interesting, and different. So they latch on to them. And they want to put that out in the world. And they have no idea what they're doing. And they don't even look that good, and they haven't been doing it that long. But they're clearly the smartest person in the room in their own mind. And these are the people that you want to stay far away from. So these people are negative to your progress. They are negative progress. If your progress was like a campfire, these kinds of people are a bucket of water. And they just want to put out all your enthusiasm. And it's usually people that follow a lot of colorful, fun, animated figures that say crazy stuff. Shows that they're easily influenced by bright lights and flashing sound. Or flashing sound. I can't talk this morning. About bright lights, flashing screens and loud sounds. That's really what they're showing everyone. So it's funny, I'm talking so much about overzealous people and all this shit, but at the end of the video, the whole point I'm trying to make is there are certain kinds of people you shouldn't be around. It's no good for you. Even if they're a friendly person, if they just have all these terrible qualities and they're bringing other people down and they're miserable and they want to follow the classic misery loves company type of thinking, you do not want to be around those fucking people, as friendly as they are. Their objective in life is to make everyone feel as shitty as them, because instead of trying to do better and change their situation, they'd rather try and pull everyone else down to their level so everyone's the same. And those kinds of people are fucking terrible, terrible poison to allow in your life. And I'm sure a lot of you listening have had those kinds of people. And maybe some of you are going through it right now, but I bet a lot of you have the experience of being around those kinds of people, and now you're not anymore. But you learned the hard way, and it pissed you off along the way. There's certain kind of subtle character qualities that these people have, and it really helps you vet someone to find out their credibility, to be aware of these things while you're meeting new people. They are very grandiose. They are incredibly selfish. They are consistently and constantly involved in some type of drama. And they usually are forcibly bringing up the same few social issues all the time because they want everyone else to be converted to what they think. These kinds of people are super exhausting to be around. And, whoa, I just dropped my phone. And they are the kinds of people that are looking for any opportunity to be involved in a controversy. Those are common character qualities out of piece of shit extremists. And to be fair, if you meet someone new and you kind of get the vibe that they embody these qualities, but in actuality, unbeknownst to you, they're the greatest person out there. You're wrong about that. They're actually the greatest person out there, and you're not giving them a chance. Well, most people, it's more likely than not that people that exhibit those qualities are going to be the piece of shit extremist. In a few instances, you might have the wrong interpretation and they're actually a great person and they're not. But most of the time, you'd be correct in this assessment. And if a few good people get put out of your life in exchange for making sure a ton of bad people are not involved in it, it's something you gotta be on board with supporting for yourself. And I mean, well, actually, at the end of the day, as much as I like other people to do better, I don't give a rat's ass if you fucking listen to me or if you call me stupid or any of that. It doesn't bother me. I don't care. It would be nice if people wanted to expand their horizons, but if they don't, that's completely fucking fine. I mean, maybe I'm the fool, but I don't need other people to believe the same shit as me. And if the whole world disagreed with me, I would still be held true to whatever I think is the right path. Because I've had great morals and values ingrained in me from a formidable age, but also went through terrible experiences in my adolescence while I was forming these. So I'm very strong-willed with this stuff. And I have good anecdotal, real personal experiences to back up these things. So I don't need the world to agree with me. But I do like to help other people. And I see a lot of other people out there going down the path of misery, and they're oblivious to it. They're so ignorant to it, they don't realize that's what they're doing. And it's a very easy choice to just choose to be happy. There's something good going on for you right now, at least one thing that's great. And you're choosing to focus on all the little insignificant bullshit and make it bigger than it actually is. When really, it's like you're trying to handcuff yourself to in a room full of misery, instead of open the door and go outside and experience all the happiness. But no matter how much you try and explain that to people, they're gonna come up with reasons why that's not fucking true, or their situation's different, special, like everyone else's aren't. You know, you're the special one, you narcissistic fuck. But they're gonna do all that kinds of shit and ignore it. It's only till you actually come to the realization that you could have been happy this whole time that you realize how fucking stupid you've been. And that hit me like a ton of bricks, because I didn't even allow myself to enjoy the ages of 14 to 25 because of how fucking miserable I was, and wallowing in my own misery, feeling sorry for myself. I didn't realize I could have just focused on better quality things, but instead I ruined a lot of years of my life being focused on all the bad shit. Sorry guys, we got a little pup. Oh, we got 3 dogs. 3 little pit bulls. They look like they're brothers and sisters. They all have the exact same coat. So anyway, guys, in conclusion, I just want everyone out there to be happy, not focus on all the miserable shit, and realize that there's a lot of positives out there in life that you could look forward to and be happy about. You don't have to be a miserable fuck. You could be happy. You could be fulfilled. You could be accomplished. And you could do so without all the stuff dragging you down. So anyway, guys, have a good rest of your day. I'm going to go get ready for my last day of work of the week. And hope you all get after it. See ya.